Hey everybody, welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the altcoin show, coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to ask the question, what if 100K top for Bitcoin was it, and there is no more altcoin season? What if this is the end? What if altcoin season is canceled? Is it canceled? When are we going to see it? What do I think are the most highest probabilities and the likely probabilities? I'm going to share all that and more, because we do have to consider all the different situations that could play out. But of course, before we do that, you know what I'm going to say next? Smash that like button. This does help get this channel out to more people and does help support the channel. And of course, I do thank you for all the kind words and encouragement that you do leave in the comment section below. You take the time to write it. I take the time to read it. Thank you so much. And those who leave questions in the comment section, I do get back to those as soon as I am able to, with the emphasis on as soon as I am able to. So please be patient there. And of course, if you'd like to engage with me directly in the Stocks with Josh Discord, right below this video in the description, you might need to click the more button that will pop out the description. I am in the Stocks with Josh Discord, in the crypto channel there daily, engaging with some of the most amazing people on the planet, and also in the meme coin channel, aka the party zone, I've dubbed it. And of course, I have my own Crowned Traders channel in there as well, where I share education, insights, resources, some of my trade setups, and of course, entertainment, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? And so you can get signed up there. Would love to see you in the Discord. All right, I'm going to shut off my camera because unfortunately I've had some issues with lights, and so therefore that has caused problems for me. And I have new lights on order. They were meant to arrive yesterday. They did not arrive. They have been delayed. Hopefully they will arrive tomorrow there. But the show must go on. Poor lighting or not, we are going to continue to bring you these shows. Absolutely fantastic. So altcoin season, and this is why I don't really like this altcoin season indicator, because people get confused. They think, oh, it's altcoin season, I need to buy my altcoins. No, when it's altcoin season, look, it's better to sell them. This is where I'm selling my altcoins. I'm buying my altcoins down here while they're cheap. I'm selling my altcoins here when they are expensive. And too much of trading is based around buying green candles and selling the red ones and panic selling the red ones. I panic sell the green candles and I panic buy the red candles. Okay, so we are finding some support here at 49. You do see this is an area of support for the altcoins. However, we could see this go down a little bit further, especially if Bitcoin finishes out the year strong. See my previous video on Bitcoin to find out my thoughts of what Bitcoin could possibly do between now and the end of the year and the first week of January, okay? We saw at the beginning of December, that's when it began to capitulate down there. That's a good time to get out. Look, I mean, when it comes up here and it's higher than over here, then that's a good time to sell out of your altcoins, or at least reduce your positions there. Again, I always teach on this channel to sell the green candles. Do not FOMO, and then you can just wait for this to come down, and then you buy the red candles again. Okay, so now we're coming down. We could come down a little bit lower, of course, but this could be an area where I've nibbled a little bit. I picked up some Solana, some Tau, some Sui, and some other tokens here. I'm just nibbling there, and I've got some buyer orders down if we do go a little bit lower. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other data that we have. Of course, you know, here's the question. What if 108K was the cycle top and there won't be an alt season? Now, we have to consider that this is a possibility. And you know, somebody said in my video just the other day from Saturday that I said that this was going to happen. No, I said it's a possibility, but I think it's a low possibility, and I think it's very unlikely. So I want to be very clear about that. While it's a possibility, I think it's unlikely, of course, because there are no guarantees. Nobody has a crystal ball. We trade probabilities. So I think that's the lowest probability outcome in my opinion. So that answers the first questions that we had in regards to that. And then, of course, the next thing that we want to have a look at here is altcoin 2025 is coming. Total 2 has broken out of the triangle and a big surge is following, according to Trader Tardigrade. And then we also have the altcoin market cap golden cross has happened this month. And in the 2021 cycle, mid caps and small caps pumped 10x to 20x after the golden cross. Okay, so we do have to take that into consideration. And then, of course, we have altcoins again, Titan of crypto, golden cross. Alts ignite into alt season 2025, just a bit more patience there. And then we have Ethereum, which usually is historically being the leader of the altcoin rally, has bullish months coming in from the January 2017 and January 2021, 31%, 78%. And then in February, it was in 2017, 48, and then 8% in 21, and then 214% in 17, and 34% in 2021, and 44% in 2021, and 67% in April of 2017. And so those first 4 months in both of those the year after this halving, the January through to April times have been extremely bullish for Ethereum and for altcoins. Okay, so if history repeats, the most likely probability is that we do still have that altcoin season. And of course, we are seeing that there needs to be a breakout total 3, and we'll have a look at those charts in a moment. Just struggling a little bit. All the total 2, total 3, and the other charts are struggling just a little bit there. And you can see that we have the total 2. Obviously, we want to see that break about that $1.64 trillion level. We are sitting right on the 50-day moving average. Of course, we could capitulate down to the 200 EMA on the daily between now and the end of the year or early January. So that would not be a surprise for me. I would not be shocked if that push down, especially if Bitcoin starts to rally like it tends to around this time of year. And see my Bitcoin video from earlier today if you want to see what typically happens. But generally, by at least Christmas Day through the end of December, Bitcoin does rally some into the end of the year before dropping off in the first week of January. And that's where generally alts start to take charge. So between now and that's about 2 weeks away. Around January 4th, January 5th has been when it's been of the previous cycle that Bitcoin has, and Bitcoin dominance tends to have dropped off, by the way, by December 28th of 2020. However, we may have seen that topped out already on the 21st of November. However, we could see a surge. If Bitcoin does surge into the end of the year, we could see that push up here and alts would take a beating. And so just to be aware of that. But of course, if this top is already in, then we may not see a huge more down for altcoins. However, we are stopping on the tribal trades trend line, one line to rule them all. And of course, the 50-day moving average just happens to be there at the moment. So this is bullish that it's held this line and this 50-day moving average. In fact, it retested it and hasn't even come and retested the 50-day moving average at about 58.45% there. So we could see this just bubble around here for a little bit and then a breakout through to the end of the year, or we could just see this breakdown here early. If the cycle was a little bit accelerated, maybe we will see some downside. And we have to consider that for December, that if we're a bit of accelerated in the cycle, that maybe we don't see that Christmas pump till the end of the year. But I'm going to stick with, we are going to see some upside from December 25th to at least from December 25th into the end of the year there, before we see that usual first week drop from January. And then altcoins usually start to take charge sometime in January. So we may have to be a little bit more patient for another 2, 3, 4 weeks. And then usually by the week of Super Bowl Sunday, that's when it really begins to take off historically there. Okay. So let's go back to total 2 there. And as we can see, what we're looking for here is a hold of this. But if we do drop down to there, this could be a good place to buy up some alt at the 200 EMA on the daily. Let's now jump into total 3. We say the same thing playing out, holding at the 50-day moving average. This is very bullish this wick here. However, we're starting to eat up that wick. And if we were to lose this level, again, the 200 EMA on the daily, that would be an area that I would look to add some altcoins. So add these to your charts. Total 2, total 3, you can just type them in, Bitcoin dominance, and the others chart, which is the crypto total market cap excluding the top 10. So I think if you type others, you may not get that. You may need to put that in there. And that is excluding the top 10. And so that's a little bit more bearish, because the smaller market caps, when the altcoin market takes a hammering, usually the lowest, the highest market cap, the bigger coins like the Solana and Ethereum, they don't go down as much. And then the middle caps, they go down a little bit more. And then the lower market caps, then they tend to take the most beating, which is why the meme coins tend to take a real hammering during these times of altcoins dumping. So you can see here, we do have a tribal trades trend line here, and we do have one to the upside. We really are looking for a break, a retest of that, but then we will have some resistance here up at its previous all-time high. But of course, again, don't be surprised if it does come down to the 200 EMA on the daily, okay? If we see Bitcoin start to supercharge sometime between now and the end of the year, or Christmas at the end of the year, then it's quite possible that altcoins could take a bit of a further beating. But of course, they could bump up a little bit and just roll around and find this as support. So I think we're either going to find support here on the altcoins, or we're going to find support down here on these totals here as well. As you can see, we find support here, or this could be a drop down to here. So just being prepared for each scenario. And of course, you can have the total crypto market cap there, which is looking at round about the same. That includes Bitcoin, and that again is the 50-day moving average. However, I would expect this whole, I would be very surprised. We could see a bit of a dump between now and Christmas. That has happened before. Back in 2016, we did see a drop from December the 23rd to the 25th, and then we saw a rally from the 25th to the end of the month. So could see the total crypto market cap. I mean, boy, that would be some drop though, some correction in the next couple of days down there. That might be something that we more see happen in a bigger correction. But you have to trade the probabilities, and the probabilities are, right now that there are some liquidation levels below for Bitcoin around 92, 93. Maybe that goes and gets tagged, and then we push up to around about that 100 to 108K level to see out the year. I think that's the most likely probability. We see a little bit more downside, and then we kind of push out from that 92 level. Maybe we even go to 90 and create a double bottom. And so the possibility of that 90, 92, 93K level, and then a push up to around that 100K, 98 to 100K, and then 108 there could possibly be an area that we break down from in early January for Bitcoin, that we've seen before on the 4th of January and the 5th of January or the 3rd of January, sometime in that first week of January, where we've seen Bitcoin have a major correction at that start of the year. And then altcoins will obviously drop a little, and then they start to take over, and there's a transition from Bitcoin season into altcoin season, which usually will run that kind of starts in January, really has a booming February. There's a little bit of a correction in February, late February, early March, and then we can push on to April, May. And then when will the bull run cycle finish? I think we need to see, let's close out December 1st. Let's see how January starts, and then we'll have a little bit more clarity around that. So that's basically what I'm trading. So when I'm looking at altcoins at the moment, I'm really looking at total 2. I don't really want to be jumping in on altcoins. This would be an area of nibbling here. But obviously, if we were to lose the 50-day moving average somewhere around here, I'm probably not buying some of the altcoins. I'll be looking at each of the individual charts to see where they are. And you can see some of the stronger altcoins in the market. Obviously, Solana has struggled a little bit. Solana dominance is down. But there could be an ETF coming for Solana in January. The new administration is going to take over. And maybe this is a little bit of the whale's last chance to get Solana on the cheap, because it's right down there at the 200 EMA on the daily. So that's a buy area. I had a buy order there for Solana. I also had a buy here on the 50-day moving average as well, and we lost that. But you see what happens when you lose the 50-day moving average. Quite often you come down to the 200 EMA on the daily time frame. If we look at some of the other stronger alts just very quickly, like Sui, it hasn't even really come down to its 50-day moving average. Well, it did, and that was a perfect buy opportunity if you managed to snag some Sui at the 50-day. But But we could come back down and retest this down here. It's sitting now at $3.66. But before it was at $3.50. So you can see how these moving averages can really, an extreme drop would be down to the 200 EMA on the daily, which is $2.28. So this has been one of the strongest performing altcoins out there. And this is why I have always looked to pick up more SUI every time there is a little dip. So the 50-day moving average and the 200 EMA. So those are areas right now that I'm looking up to pick up my favorite altcoins when they come down to these areas. You look at something like HNT, it's lost the 50-day moving average. What happens? It comes down to the 200 EMA, and that's where I had a buy order there to pick up. We go to another one like Render, for example. Again, it lost the 50-day moving average. Where did it come down to? Just like Solana, it came down to the 200 EMA on the daily. If we go back to maybe something like, again, Floki, we saw there just very quickly, it lost the 50-day moving average, and then it came down to the 200 EMA. The 50-day moving average was lost for Ethereum, and we came down and almost touched the 200 EMA on the daily, but this would be an entry for me if I was trading Ethereum there. That could be somewhere that could be picked up a little bit more. If we look at, say, another one on here, is just we quickly rattle through them. The 50-day moving average goes down the 200 EMA, but you lose the 50-day. It's almost baked in that you go to the 200 EMA. And then some of the smaller caps, so some of the lower caps are losing. So the higher, the strongest coins are holding the 50-day moving average, like SUI. Let's have a look at Solana. It's not been as strong, but it's stronger than most because it held the 200 EMA on the daily. If we look at Potenza Tau, it lost the 50-day. Look what happened. It collapsed down to the 200 EMA on the daily. And historically, this has been a good opportunity to buy. But when would I buy this? I would buy this on the break of the 200 EMA on the daily in a retest. So I would look at getting in there at around about that 468 level. I like to trade on confirmation because we could see a little bit more to the downside. It could come all the way back to this $400 level. And that would be also an area that I would look to pick up some more Tau at that level as well. So you can kind of see a little bit of a pattern emerging that the stronger ones like the SUIs, and I think Ondo as well. If we were to look at the Ondo chart, let's just have a look at two more, or one more here. We've just got time for maybe one more. Again, Ondo hasn't even come down the 50-day moving average, so it's been strong. There's an unlock coming, and so that is the big concern that I have for that. But that didn't even come. But if it did come down to that, if it lost that, it would be quite possible that 200 EMA on the daily comes into play. So the stronger altcoins, look at where they are in relation to the 50-day moving average. You know, look at Casper, for example. Well, that's very bearish because not only did it lose the 50-day moving average, the 50-day moving average went underneath, but now it's crossing back above, but it lost the 200 EMA on the daily. So this is obviously a big buy opportunity. Or, you know, maybe if we get back up to here, if it rejects here, that could be a good time to exit. Or if it breaks back above and retest, that could be a place to get in on the trade. So you can just see here, even the meme coins, you know, we look here with Pepe. Pepe lost the 50-day moving average, really came down and didn't even get down to the 200 EMA on the daily. So as far as a meme coin goes, but it's still stuck under the 50-day moving average. So it's quite possible this could just truck its way down to the 200 EMA on the daily. So that's really how I'm looking at trading. I'm looking at all three of the totals. I'm looking at each coin individually. I'm looking at the 50-day moving average. I'm looking at the 200 EMA on the daily. And I'm looking at the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and we're under that as well to see where that could possibly be, because you can see for SUI, where was the 4-hour there? There it is there, and that's why you've seen, oh, why is it not getting back down that 50-day moving average? It does have the 200 EMA on the 4-hour, lose that, and then maybe the 50-day, and then lose that, and then possibly the 200 EMA on daily comes into play. All right, so that's how I'm trading this market at the moment. I'm trading based on probabilities. Of course, there are no guarantees, only probabilities. And of course, until the next episode, happy trading.